Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. There goes my email in the background. This is question 7. So this video is going to help you tomorrow. We're literally, whenever you're going to be doing this, if it's not my class, it might be Mrs. Bowen or Mrs. Williamson's class watching this as well. This is going to help you with how to figure out your travelling time. Now, obviously, you've done steps 1 to 6. You found your locations, you found your places. So I'm going to go through the steps to find the distance travel, the time travelled between locations. Now, you can see here you've got 2 options. Option 1, which is the easier option, and again, it depends on what you are going to aim for in this on this task. Option 1 is 100 kilometres per hour between locations, and option 2 is 100 kilometres per hour within 50 kilometres of your starting location, and 50 kilometres per hour. For this example, I'm going to work through option 2, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. All right, let's get started. All right, so here we are. Now I haven't got any places, so I'm going to call my magical places place A and place B. What magical names they are. And when I looked up, the distance from place A to place B was, let's do 928 kilometres. Okay, now in my car, I travel 100 kilometres per hour, apart from when I am 50 kilometres away either side of the journey. So 50 here and 50 over here. It's not very neat at all, but that doesn't matter. So therefore, for 100 kilometres per hour, so for 100 kilometres of my journey, I'm travelling 50 kilometres per hour. Okay, so therefore, obviously, that part of my journey is going to take me 2 hours. So let me get a new screen, because now I've got a new total. Because now I've got to take 100 kilometres away from 928. So let me just go to a new screen. So I had 928, and I took away 100 because I was 50 either side. That left me with 828 kilometres to go. Now over here, I'm going to write 2 hours for the 100 kilometres. Okay, either side. So now I'm going to try and figure out how long does it take me when I'm travelling at an average speed of 100 kilometres per hour to travel 8.28 kilometres. Now, if it was nice and neat, if it was 800 kilometres exactly, it'd be nice and easy. But unfortunately, our places in Queensland aren't all that nice and neat and close to each other. So obviously, if in 1 hour I travel 100 kilometres, I have to travel 828. The question is, what did I do to the 100 to get to 828? And I multiplied it by 8.28. So therefore, my journey to travel 828 kilometres, 828 kilometres is going to take me 8.28 hours. But we have a problem. 8.28, I'm going to write hours. Let me just write over here. I'm going to write that 2 hours over here so I don't forget from that 100 from either side. 50 kilometres either side. That 8.28 hours, 8 hours, that's easy. So my travel time is 8 hours. Well, so far my travel time is going to be 10 hours because I've got the 8 hours plus the 2 hours. But 0.28 of an hour. The question you have to ask yourself is, what does 0.28 of an hour equal? And the answer is it doesn't equal 28 minutes. Okay, because we know in an hour, we have 60 minutes. Okay, so what we've got to find is what 0.28 of 60 minutes is, and we can do that by multiplying it by 60. Now, you are allowed to use your calculators here, okay? Yes, you don't have to if you don't want to. You shouldn't have to do that one, but you are allowed to use your calculators here. So let me have a look I'm just pulling out my calculator because I just want to get this done. Too many zeros. 0.28 times 60 And my answer is 16.8 minutes. Okay, new slide. Let me forget my 8 hours, my 2 hours, my 16.8 minutes. Okay, new slide. So I've got my 8 hours. I've got my 2 hours from the 50 either side, and it was 16.8 minutes. So far, my travel time has taken me 10 hours, because I've 8 plus 2, 0.8 minutes, 0.8 seconds, 16.8 minutes. So the 0.8 is going to be the seconds part. So now I need to convert. So I'm just going to write the 16 minutes here so I don't forget that part. So now I'm going to convert I'm going to find out, well, what is 0.8 of a minute? So I know, again, that's for my seconds, so I'm working with seconds, so I'm multiplying it by 60 again. So it's 0.8 times 60. All right? So that's also 4/5 of 60, because we know that 0.8 is 80%, which is equivalent to 4/5. Okay, so 4/5 of 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. 12 4s are 48. All right, I'm just going to check that with my calculator just to make sure, but I'm pretty confident that I'm right. 0.8 times 60 equal, what have I done? No, I've done the wrong thing. 0.8 times 60 equals 48 seconds. So my journey for my original journey in this trip, it was going to take me 10 hours, 16 minutes, and 48 seconds exactly. Now that was a big one. Let's do another big one. Let's work through it again. The same sort of process. I'm going to show you another example. This time, let's go from, again, original names for the towns, from town C to town D, and the journey can be, I'm going to make it even more trickier. I'm going to work with a decimal here. 529.64 kilometres. All right. Now, I'm going to take 50 off either side. Okay, so I know that to travel that 100 kilometres, it's going to take me 2 hours because I'm travelling at 50 kilometres an hour. So my remaining journey, so I've got 2 hours over here for 100 kilometres at the 50 kilometres an hour on either side. So my remaining journey is 429.64 kilometres. All right, now let's write that on the new screen. So 2 hours, so I don't forget, 429.64. Now, what do we notice about this 2 hours? Is it always the same? Is it the same as the other example? Hopefully you're figuring it out there. So, again, same process. 1 hour equals 100 kilometres, because we're going 100 kilometres per hour. I've got to go 429.64. Okay, so the way I figure out how many hours that is really, really simple. Is I just do 429. Again, I can use a calculator for this. 0.64 divided by 100, and that equals 4.2964 hours. Now, this is going to be a bit of a messy one, I think. Let's do a new slide. Okay, so I've got my 2 hours. 4.2964 hours. Okay, so 4 plus the 2 is 6. So now I've got to figure out what is 0.2964. So this is my minutes bit. So I'm going to multiply that by 60 to find out how many minutes that is. Okay, 0.2964 times 60, and that equals 17.784 minutes. Okay, so again, it's getting messy here. It's getting very, very messy. So I've got my 4 hours and I've got my 2 hours, so that's 6 hours. So far I've got 6 hours, 17 minutes, and now I need to convert this part because this is my seconds. So again, it's the same process, multiplying by 60 because there's 60 seconds in a minute. 0.784 multiplied by 60. All right, and this is and to be honest, guys, you're going to have more of these type of messy ones than the nice even ones. And that's 47.04 seconds. Now, we've still got a decimal here, but we would leave that because we can have decimals in seconds. So to travel that original 529.64 kilometres is going to take me, it's quite messy, 6 hours, 17 minutes and 47.04 seconds. Okay. So let's go through the processes, how I solved these two problems. Then I'm going to tell you what you need to have in preparation ready for your teacher, please. Okay, so step one is figure out the distance. And again, if you're going for that AB criteria, the distance minus the 50 kilometres either side. Step two is figure out the amount of hours. And you do that by a simple conversion, 100 kilometres per hour. Step three is figure out the minutes. And step four is you figure out the seconds. Now, if it comes out nice and even and it stops at either of these two steps, obviously you don't keep going down to the third step here at seconds. But chances are you're probably going to have to go down to that third step there at seconds. Your task is you need to write down some notes. You could type them down, write them down on a piece of paper, write down some notes about what the formulas were, which was on the previous slide. I can't go back. And any questions that you have for your teacher, all right, because they will be able to answer those questions for you. So write down your questions. And if you haven't got any questions, write down what you know, like what you understand. Okay, because that will just prove to your teacher you have taken the time to do this, and because this is part of the requirements for this task. Okay, hopefully that helped. Bye.